Hey everyone, welcome back to I don't know what to call this series. Reading slowly with Bavin. I don't know. But let's do chapter two of Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I'm also be testing around my streaming setup a little bit. I need to like really tinker with what's gonna work for me because I have another channel called Pokelosophy where I play the original game of Pokemon and start introspecting about life and health and philosophy. But I need to really figure out my setup. So I'm gonna experiment with my setup in these videos. I figured that's a good avenue to do it. Again, it'll be cool to watch back on these videos and maybe I have like a studio or something. Who knows? But chapter two was really interesting. I it really changed the way I worked this week, and I read it a while ago, and I think some of the lessons that seeped into my brain. I was able to apply to my life in a very methodical way, which is what this chapter basically talks about. And obviously, I don't want to give too much away, but he goes over a recap of why he started maintaining motorcycles himself and fixing things himself. And there's one part that I really like here, and he's basically talking about doing one thing at a time. And that's something that I mentioned in the last video, but this is another example that he alluded to, and I'm going to read the passage right now. The radio was a clue. You can't really, one second. The radio was a clue. You can't really think hard about what you're doing and listen to the radio at the same time. Maybe they didn't see their job as having anything to do with hard thought, just wrench twiddling. If you can twiddle wrenches while listening to the radio, that's more enjoyable. So this is something that I'm working on a lot, especially at work. At work, I was trying to work on this giant Excel sheet, and I tried to not listen to a lot of music. There's a few periods where I had it on, then I paused it to do some deep thinking. Then I'll put it on again. So I'm trying to train my brain slowly and patiently to do one thing at a time. And one thing I found that helped was playing nature sounds, which isn't the same as music or radio because it's random serenity. I think is the way I call it. It's like there's no other way to describe it from that perspective. And yeah, it was cool. If you're doing something hard, like let's say coding or working on Excel sheets, you really need to concentrate. And I think doing two things at once doesn't really help. And maybe that contributes to our problems in software development or problems in like company processes. People aren't present. We're listening to too much music and we're distracted all the time. That's something that I'm thinking about more. And as I said, I'm trying to be more present when I do certain tasks. Let's see here. Yeah, this last part was also quite good. Here's another passage that I kind of bracketed. I don't remember why, but let's read it to find out. They were already trying to not have any thoughts about the where work on the job. In their own way, they were achieving the same thing John and Sylvia were, living with technology without having anything to do with it. Or rather, they had something to do with it, but their own selves were outside of it, detached and removed. They were involved in it, but not in such a way to care. Again, this is that like backgroundness of technology. It's like you're you're trying to do something, but it's just there, and it's not really mindfully used in a way that focuses on the task at hand. I think that's what that means. I may have to review that chapter again. Let's see here. There's one part here that I really liked, and I actually wrote a note here, and I've tried to apply this when I was doing my Excel sheets today. And I'm going to read the passages out to you. When you want to hurry something, that means you no longer care about it and want to get on with the other things. I just want to get at it slowly, but carefully and thoroughly with the same attitude. I remember, sorry, I misread. I'm dyslexic for those who don't know. But carefully and thoroughly with the same attitude I remember was present just before I found that sheared pin. So the pin was something he was fixing. It was the attitude that I found it and nothing else. Go slowly, right? Like if you're rushing through it, you want to get on to the next thing and avoid it. And I find that's what we do in society these days. We just rush to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And the Excel sheets this week at work were, I was taking my time. I had a deadline and that's for next week, but I took my time and I actually got it done ahead of schedule. But it was the only thing I focused on. So I think there's a lot to set. And I remember reading that and going, yeah, I should take my time with this and really slow down. And I didn't do that, unfortunately, for one of my videos I just posted on my Pokelosophy channel, but I'm going to try to do that as best I can. Just like maybe give some buffer, take your time with it. Don't feel rushed, don't feel stressed. Just go with the motions up and down. It doesn't matter if you fail or anything like that. I think just treating life as a lazy river. And we're in control of that. I think we're in control of our emotions to keep it as lazy river. Just coast with it. Don't overthink it. So that's my chapter 2 introspection. And I'll do chapter 3 in the weekend. Talk to you soon. Take care.